Welcome to Toronto, Canada's biggest city, a destination that the world considers a livable, diverse and prosperous place. However, beneath this shining facade, a contrasting reality exists that few visitors are aware of. This is a story that reveals two different Torontos, one thriving amidst luxury and another struggling amidst silence. The line that divides these two worlds is hard to see, but you are about to discover something that will challenge all that you thought you knew about Toronto. Arriving in Toronto is like entering an ever-unfolding dream. Skyscrapers that mirror the sky, cultural streets that pulsate with life. The voices from every corner of the globe harmonize with one single beat. This is the Toronto that the world sees. Ranked as the most livable city globally, one of the most multicultural spots in the world, a thriving economy, a tech capital, a financial capital. Skyline never stops growing, cranes in every spot, building the tomorrow of the city of Toronto. The waterfront shines, restaurants on King Street, where a drink will cost $18, boutiques in Yorkville with handbags priced higher than what people pay for rent. The Path network, routed below ground, has close to 30 kilometers of temperature-regulated retail, where one doesn't have to brave the elements. Walk through the entertainment district at night, lights dimmed and buzzing with vibrancy, or head to Yonge Dundas Square, where neon lights illuminate and people throng together. This is a postcard of Toronto, Tourism Campaign Toronto, the Toronto that lures immigrants with the promise of hope. Here's what they don't tell you at customs. Toronto will get you if you let it. It won't hit you all at once. It will sneak up on you, neighborhood by neighborhood, conversation by conversation, sometimes in a way that will break your heart. Walk for 15 minutes to the east, beyond the stores, beyond the eateries. The stores change, the people grow fewer. Then before you know it, you're on Sherbourne Street, and everything shifts. Approximately 1 in every 5 Toronto households is living below the poverty line, according to recently available information. Food bank use, some 300,000 client visits every month. This is a doubling of the rate in 3 years. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is over $200 a month, not high-end downtown prices. Average. Minimum wage $17 a month, full-time $752 a month before taxes. After taxes, $200 a whole check. Gone. Just to keep a roof over my head.
Tonight, the final designs revealed. Good evening. We begin with the Ford government releasing new renderings of a redeveloped Ontario place.
It's a project that's been plagued by controversy, and tonight there's still no shortage of opinions about the updated plans.
Before food, before transit, before anything else, the math doesn't work, and thousands more still are trying to make it work anyway. But here is what sets this crisis apart.
If you want to come into our country or city legally, be a legal citizen, by all means, 2 thumbs up. But if you want to come here illegally, that's really tough for us.
Everything's contracts, short terms, nothing is set in stone. Don't even have long-term plans. Farthest I can look out is 6 months.
This situation is not only affecting the unemployed. It isn't because they lack education and drive. The fastest growing group among the Toronto homeless? People with jobs. These are referred to as the working homeless. Nurses, teachers, retail managers. The individual who brought you your coffee this morning. The one who filled the grocery shelves last night. They work full-time, and they sleep in cars, in parks, under bridges. You've probably met them this week, and you didn't know that either. Look, I can show you something. Stand at the corner of Yonge and Dundas, the pulsing center of downtown. Bright lights, shopping, street entertainment. Thousands of people pass by every hour. Consider your environment, upscale department stores, digital signs, the dynamism of trade and consumption. Now, walk for 15 minutes in any direction. Turn east on Dundas, cross Jarvis. You will arrive at Moss Park, long-established area of encampment. Tents line up around the edges of Sherbourne and Queen Street. This is ground zero for visible homelessness. You can see people coming out of shelters every morning, gathering around the community centres, in the area where Seton House, one of Canada's largest men's shelters, is located. The contrast is immediate, jarring. Continue walking north, another 15 minutes. Allen Gardens, Jarvis and Carlton. Beautiful park from the Victorian era. Greenhouses with tropical plants. historic shelter area for homeless people. In winter, these greenhouses serve a different purpose, as a heat source for people who have nowhere to go. You will see people sleeping on benches, in doorways, clustering near the warm buildings. Now head west from downtown. Walk towards Queen West and Crawford. 20 minutes. Trinity Bellwoods Park. Hip neighborhood. Gentrified cafe prices for a cup of latte, $7. Dog parks. Murals splattering colors. Young professionals riding their cycles along the sidewalk. Scattered across this gentrified park. Continuous encampments. Highly visible. The city has removed them several times. They always come back, because the residents who live there have no other option. Keep going west. Dufferin and Bloor. Dufferin Grove Park. Tent encampments are also present in or head south towards the lake. Liberty Village. $1 million condos. Loft space conversions. Rooftop decks. And right underneath the Gardner Expressway, which runs alongside those high-rise luxury condos, more tents, more tarps, industrial lots converted into tent cities, near Lamport Stadium Park, a large tent city that the city tore down in 2021, yet the homeless keep coming back, pitch tents whenever they can. And then there's Parkdale, Queen West between Dufferin and Roncesvalles. This neighborhood has a different story to tell. Rooming houses line the streets. There are supportive housing centers, mental health resources, visible street poverty. This is where Toronto's marginalized tend to congregate. Go downtown again, Clarence Square Park, Spadina and Wellington Streets. Directly within the entertainment district, smaller camp setup, however, still there and easily observed by anyone who bothers to notice. Or venture east, Regent Park at Parliament, and Dundas, under regeneration due to gentrification, but remains a mixed-income district where life is a struggle. Further east, Leslieville, Riverside, Eastern Avenue, under the Gardiner, industrial areas where encampments exist in plain sight. And then there's St. Jamestown, Parliament and Wellesley, 19 high-rise buildings stacked side by side, the most crowded neighborhood in Canada. Low-income families, immigrants, many recent arrivals, 8 people, cramped into 2-bedroom apartments, each paying $800 for a bunk bed in somebody's living room. Go north, get out of downtown. Jane and Finch, Jane Street and Finch Avenue, low-income housing towers, working poor neighborhood. Families are struggling despite full-time employment. Or Scarborough, Malvern in Finch and Nielsen, Kingston Galloway, in Lawrence and Galloway, Scarborough Village, Tower in the Park communities, Toronto's high-priority neighborhoods where poverty is concentrated, or Rexdale, Kipling and Finch in northwest Etobicoke, more socially housed communities expanded beyond capacity. This is what Toronto tourists don't see. The Toronto that doesn't show up in promotional videos. The Toronto that is also minutes away from luxury, from wealth. Let me tell you about Sarah. She is 34. Marketing coordinator, annual salary, $65,000. By any measure, she is successful. Education, job, 1-bedroom apartment in the annex. Rent is $2,200 per month. After taxes, her net amount is approximately $3,900. Rent takes more than half right away. Transit pass per month, $156. Groceries if she is prudent, $400. Phone, internet, utilities, loan repayment, $322 per month. By the end of the month, perhaps $400 left. There is no emergency fund. There is no money for a down payment. She hasn't had a vacation in 3 years. She does everything right, and she's 1 bad month away from crisis. This is James. He's 36. 2 jobs, warehouse work, $18.50 per hour. Nights and on the weekend as a rideshare driver. A total of 65 hours a week. This brings home a total of $55,000 per year. Sounds okay. But James doesn't actually have an apartment. His landlord sold it 2 years ago. The new owner renovated it, doubled the rent. James couldn't afford it, applied to dozens. Vacancy rates under 1%. Landlords looking for applicants making 3 times the monthly rent. James did not qualify, and so now he lives in his car, a 2014 Honda Civic, showers at a 24-hour gym. The cost of a monthly membership is $30. Stores work clothes in a storage locker. Parks in different places each night, so as not to draw attention or get tickets. Sometimes around Lamport Stadium in Liberty Village. Sometimes in parking lots around Dufferin Grove Park. Sometimes in industrial areas along Eastern Avenue, under the Gardner, because others do the same thing. He still goes to work, both jobs, every shift. Nobody knows he's not lazy, not uneducated, addicted to nothing. Of course, he simply can't afford to live where he works. Thousands are estimated to share this experience. Full-time job, slept in cars, slept on couches, slept in shelters when there were available beds. The shelter system, operating at 98% capacity on most nights. Covenant House for youth, Seton House for men, Dixon Hall in the East End, Fred Victor Center locations throughout the city, Good Shepherd Ministries on Dundas East Street. All are filled, all are overextended, and winter is coming. But as the temperature drops, the path network beneath the streets becomes a refuge. Those near 30 kilometers of climate-controlled walkways, Union Station, links to the Eaton Center. People are seeking the warmth of atrium areas surrounding hospitals. St. Michael's, Toronto General, on University Avenue. This is survival in one of the richest cities in the world. R.H. Lokshinov, candidate. This is the bit that should bother you. Sarah and James? They're the lucky ones. Because Sarah has walls, James has a car. Walk around Alexandra Park, near Bathurst and Dundas, historic encampment location. Or around the site where homeless populations congregated in Lamport Stadium Park before it got cleared in 2021. Most had moved to hidden areas, in the area under the Gardner, in ravines near High Park at Kiel and Bloor, industrial areas off Eastern Avenue. The issue was not resolved. It just became harder to see. The city removes encampments, Alexandra Park, Lamport Stadium, Trinity Bellwoods, Clarence Square, Moss Park, Dufferin Grove. Again and again, tents were removed. However, individuals don't disappear. They move into ravines, into zones for industry, into areas where there are no cameras. The crisis never ends. It just hides better. But how does a city with this degree of wealth produce this degree of poverty? These are complex answers, but there are patterns. First of all, supply and demand. There are hundreds of thousands of people moving into the city every year, but there aren't enough homes being built. And when the demand is so much higher than the supply, the price goes up dramatically. That's basic economics. That's second, the use value of housing. As condos, many units in Toronto are not owned by residents, but by investors. They stand empty. Some units are rented daily. The right to housing was reduced to commodities. It can now be bought or sold. The third is stagnant wages. The costs of rent, food, and transportation have escalated greatly in 2 decades. The wages stagnated. The actual purchasing power of workers decreased gradually. Fourth, the lack of adequate social housing. The waiting list for social housing in Toronto is said to exceed 80,000 households. Wait time, years, decades. People apply when their kids are newborns. By the time they are allocated a spot, the kids are in high school. Lastly, gaps in policy. Rent regulation applies only to buildings erected before 2018. New buildings offer zero protection. This is because high returns can be expected. The necessary affordable housing is just not being created. But what happens to people if they can't pay to live in the city? When people can't, however, taking down tents is not a solution to homelessness. It merely displaces it. The consequence? A balkanized city, where the middle class is being systematically dismantled, where people doing service work can't afford to live in proximity to the work, where young families leave the city in which they raise their own kids, where kids graduate from school with degrees but no place to apply them. The promise of opportunity? It all seems to be a lie. But listen, it doesn't have to be this way. Other cities are dealing with similar situations. And there are solutions. Vienna, Austria, hosts one of the most successful social housing programs globally. Over 60% of its population is comprised of people living in subsidized or public housing, social housing that is not stigmatized, well-maintained, integrated, and successful. The Singapore government constructs and sells affordable housing units directly to its citizens. Home ownership levels rival the world's highest. Housing is viewed as a basic infrastructure rather than an auxiliary facility. But there are some experiments closer to home. Some Canadian cities are trying new approaches, inclusionary zoning mandates, cooperative housing models, community land trusts, rent stabilization policies that work. There are solutions. Blueprints are available. What's missing? Political will, because it is not easily solved. Putting people before financial returns, regulation, public budgets, the distant future above immediate gain. It means recognizing the existing system is broken, not for most people. Which question do you need to ask yourself then? What Toronto do you inhabit? The one with security, with comfort, where rent is reasonable, and the future is secure? Or the one where every month is a struggle to survive, where working hard is not enough? Where is the city you love that is effectively displacing you? And if you're from the first Toronto, what is your responsibility to the second one? Because here's the truth that affects everyone. When teachers can't afford to live here, schools suffer. When healthcare workers move to other cities to pay their bills, hospitals suffer. When young people lose all hope of ever owning a home, generations disconnect. A divided city will not prosper, not sustainably, not meaningfully. A crossroads in Toronto. Toronto is at a crossroads. What will happen in the coming years will determine if it will be a city of the people or a city of the fortunate few who manage to get in on the ground floor, and those with inherited riches or six-figure incomes. The question is, will we pick action or comfort? But right now, while you're watching this video, someone is ending a shift at a restaurant in the entertainment district, serving people who have paid out more for dinner alone than this worker takes home in a whole day. But tonight, that same worker will sleep in their car, parked somewhere off Eastern Avenue, or under the Gardener in Liberty Village, or in a parking lot near High Park, 3 blocks from the CN Tower, in the same city that promises opportunities for everyone. This is Toronto. 2 sides, 1 city. But the rift between them is widening each day. If this story has inspired you, share it. These problems live in the shadows. The more people who are aware of what is occurring, the harder it becomes to deny. Subscribe to NKEOMA Documentary TV on YouTube for more investigations that matter. Stories that expose what lies beneath the surface of the cities we think we know. And if you are living in Toronto, get involved. Support those doing the frontline work. Street Health, Fred Victor Centre, Sanctuary Ministries, Dixon Hall, Toronto Drop-In Network. They are on the front lines every day, making a difference. Attend city council meetings. Support a leader who loves people more than property. Change is possible, only if we demand it. Both sides of Toronto do not necessarily have to remain split, but closing the gap, it requires all of us. If you'd like to learn more about Toronto, make sure to watch the video popping up on your screen right now, where we break down 12 things they don't want you to know about Toronto. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.